Okay, once your slabs of clay have set up enough that you're ready to trim and bevel them to make your box, what you want to do, they're leather hard, so I can still move them around, but if I was to do this, it's not going to fall apart or cave in on itself. So to trim, I always trim with the texture side down. It's up to you if you want to do it texture side up. I'm going to take my clay tool and a ruler. What I'm going to do first is you want one straight cut. So on this side here, I'm going to cut. This is going to be the straight side. Then I'm going to take a triangle. I'm going to put the triangle tight up against the straight side here. And then on this side, I'm going to cut. And then I'm going to go to the other side over here. Line it up. So you want all four sides trimmed with the triangle. Well, 3 out of the 4. One's trimmed with the ruler. Trim it up here. And then the other side trim up there also using the triangle. You don't want to cut a whole lot if you don't have to. Just enough to kind of square it up. Okay? Next, what we want to do, I'm going to bevel this on 3 sides. So I'm going to bevel it here, here, and here. What a bevel is, this is not beveled. So you can see how it's a square, solid piece of clay. This piece here is already beveled. So you can see how the sides here are cut at an angle. Okay? That's what we want with a bevel, so that the 2 pieces, when you go to put them together, will form a 90-degree angle, hopefully, something kind of like this. And it makes for a much nicer, more even box. So, I've already done some prep work there. I have most of my other pieces beveled. I just have this last one for demonstration purposes. So to bevel, what you want to do, you're going to move your ruler in or over a little bit, about the thickness of your clay. So if your clay is like a 1/4 inch thick, you want to move it in a 1/4 inch. If it's like a 1/2 inch, you want to move it in a 1/2 inch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut at an angle. So if I zoom in here, hopefully you can see. Okay, so I'm going to take the clay tool, hold it at an angle like this, and these rulers have got a beveled side here themselves, and I'm just going to cut up against that side there, and it bevels the clay pretty nicely. And then I'm going to flip this and go to this side, same thing. I only want 3 out of the 4 sides. If it's not perfectly beveled, don't worry about it. You just want to be careful that you're not cutting your pieces down too small. Or you can always go back, like this one's a little thick, so I'm going to pull it back in a little bit and re-bevel it. Okay, these extra like shredded pieces of clay, you can turn into slip, or if they're too dry, you can just throw them away. So the next part is assembling the box. So to assemble a box, what you want to do, you kind of want to have the pieces, how they're ready to go, kind of laid out. So this is going to get put together like this. These 2 pieces are going to go here. Then I have 2 pieces for the sides, one here, and then 1 piece for the top. So I'm not going to have a lid for this one. So I'm going to take one of the bigger pieces here, and this will get beveled, put on this side here. I'm going to check to see how it fits, and it fits pretty good. Okay, so any place that they're going to be attached, I'm going to score. So I'm going to take and score along here. You can score any place that it's beveled, but I would wait to slip it till you're actually going to put them together. Score here. And I'm going to slip where the 2 are going to be put together at, so right here. You don't need a whole lot of slip. Then you can just take them, kind of press them in. When you see the slip smush out, that's when you know you have a good connection. And if you have texture on your box, you want to be careful that you're not losing all of your texture on the sides there. So I have that like that. It's a good connection. Next thing that I'm going to need to do is I need to roll a reinforcement coil. So I have a little piece of clay here. I'm just going to rip some clay off, and I'm going to roll a small coil. Coils don't have to be very big. And I'm going to roll a coil and put it right in there. It could be a little smaller than the length there because you're going to be smushing it together. So I'm going to take and put some extra slip there. Just helps to facilitate putting it together. And I recommend putting your reinforcement coils in as you're making the project, okay? Because if you don't, and especially if you have a smaller box, it's not going to fit together very well. The purpose of the coils here is to help to give your box more support, okay? So any place that you have a seam, which is where you're putting the two pieces of clay together, you want to put in a reinforcement coil. Kind of smooth it out while it's still plastic. Okay, next I'm going to put the piece that goes along here. So it would be this piece here. So in order to do that, I want to make sure that it's still going to fit once I get it in there and I don't have to trim it. Okay, because if it's a little big, I want to trim it now. So in order to do that, I'm going to score here and here and slip there. The other pieces I already have scored up some. It's best if you take your time and get your box cut first. Make sure it's going to go together pretty well. You can even mark on the inside like how it's going to go together, like I could have put this as the base. It's better to take your time and do that because then it goes together so much easier. It seems like the box is a lot of cutting and trimming and you think, oh man, I'm not going to do a box, but it goes together really quickly once you have it all worked out. Okay, so now I'm going to press this in here, the bottom there, and you can see the slip starting to smush out, so you know I have a good connection, and then in the corner here. Okay, and there's slip pressing out again. And you can just do this on the table, it doesn't have to be done on the canvas. And then same thing for the reinforcement coils. Roll out some reinforcement coils, but I have two that I'm going to put in this time. Okay, I'm going to put the reinforcement coil in here and then up the center here. And you make sure you're supporting the outside of the seam when you go to put this in there. You can use a clay tool to smooth it in if you want. You don't have to. Just want to make sure you don't get any air bubbles in there. And then same thing down here. You want to be kind of careful while you're handling this and kind of moving it around so that you don't rip any of the sides off because they can still come apart. The clay is still not set up at all. So, okay. Then I have two more pieces I got to add on, and this one here, score and slip it, attach the coils, and this one up here on the top, score and slip it and attach the coils. And I'm finished.